Hi Capricorn, this is Wishko the Ferret. Thanks for hopping into the Ferret Den where we're keeping things warm, we're keeping things cozy. We have a reading for you today from May 29th to June 4th. You have a full moon in Sagittarius coming up on the 3rd or the 4th depending on where you're at in the world. So check your time zone, see when you can work that manifestation magic if you so choose, and check out your favorite astrologer so you can see how the planets are aligning and what you can do to make your life better at this time. So Capricorn, get centered, drop into your heart space as always. Let the dust spiritually, physically, and emotionally settle around and within you so that you can determine which messages are for you and which messages are for others. And I did like a grounding ritual before I did all these readings, but I always like to take another second to thank Archangel Michael for casting his light of protection around me, for helping lead the way with truth and with light. Thank you for helping me to uplift and empower our collective Capricorns at this time. Thank you, angel guides. Thank you, spirit team, for connecting me with the Capricorn sun, moon, and rising energies. Whoever happens to be drawn to the Capricorn collective energies as well is also welcome. Just make sure you are definitely, I encourage everyone to make sure they are anchored in their heart space. Imagining roots coming out of your feet is super beneficial as well. So we're just going to get into it and see what's going on for you this week. Okay. Right when the first card came out, I just heard that you're spoiled for choice, but you need to make a choice. And that's interesting because 7 of Cups is usually a spoiled for choice card, but you have the 4 of Cups here. So 4 of Cups, 4 of Cups is indicating that, you know, it's okay to be picky, because the 4 of Cups is picky. But it does caution against being a little too picky. So the present situation seems to be that you have choices that are presenting themselves to you, but nothing really seems to suit all of your needs, or it seems like nothing's suiting all of your needs. The challenge here with the 10 of Cups, you have the challenge, the obstacle is the 10 of Cups. You might be thinking too far into the future. You have things that are presented to you at the present moment, but you're really probably not going to know how they fully feel in your heart space until you're actually in them and until you're actually working towards your goals. If you were, because this kind of reminds me of that one thing that people say, where they say that, you know, you follow your passion, but passions aren't really something you follow. Passions are something that you build. And when I heard that recently, my mind kind of exploded. And that's kind of like the analogy that I'm thinking about when I'm pulling, and you're like, when you have choices, but when it's crossed with an emotion card like the 10 of Cups, which is very much for that emotional fulfillment, that feeling of having it all. Some people think that when you follow your passion, you're immediately going to be successful and like you're in your vibe, that nothing can go wrong, or even if it does, you're just always going to feel fulfilled. You're never going to have to suffer again. And that's not really true. I mean, it takes a grind to get to where you are dreaming of being sometimes, and that's just the reality of it. For some people, it does happen overnight, but they still have to maintain that. Okay, so passion is something that you build, not something that you follow. And I would argue that this is the same thing for basically anything that we pick. Like, that actually, like, I guess maybe I missed the mark on, like, how to explain this in a very, like, uplifting way, because this is actually very exciting for me. Like, it's a very exciting thing. It's a very exciting mindset to take. Because similarly, while yes, you build on your passion, it's still something worth fighting for. It's worth creating. And it's almost like, it's just fun because, you know, we don't 100% know what we want in life. So that means we can experience a multitude of different things and feel fulfillment in all of these different ways. And that's the exciting part of it, is that I feel like you have these choices here, but you're blocked because maybe you have a specific image in your mind of what you think's going to fill you up or what you think's going to make you happy, but really Spirit's like, just pick one. The most important thing isn't that you pick the right one, quote unquote, because I feel like the three of these four in this card are actually going to fill you up pretty full, actually. They're probably going to fill you up. And you might be being extremely picky when really you might have multiple things that you're going for. You might have multiple things that you can make work for you and still lead a very happy and fulfilled life despite having many options. So, especially with a cross of the 10 of Cups, I feel like no matter what you choose, you're just going to be successful or feel guided on your path and choose the thing that fills you up either way, because you're always going to be following your heart. So the thing that I would advise, even though we're not too far into the tarot spread yet, when you have a junction like this, I would say follow the path that fills up your heart. Out of all of the situations presented, choose what's filling up your cup the most right now. And then see how you feel. Because eventually when we learn and we integrate that, we do end up, if something's not enough, then our heart will search for more, and then we can move beyond that and move on. So let the cycles in life happen as they're happening. But anyway, in the subconscious, we have something. There is a preference to bring something to an end. So you kind of want to cut out of a situation and jump into a new one. I'm not really sure if we're thinking about new beginnings right now. I don't see any aces coming up so far, but there is kind of something, a desire coming up from within, or something in the subconscious is kind of egging you on to leave. The 10 of Swords is about endings. It could be a painful ending. I heard it's kind of a long shot, so maybe in your logical mind you're like, it's kind of a long shot, but it's something coming up from within your subconscious, the undercurrent of what's going on in your subconscious. They want something to end, and it's pain and it's suffering. Like, okay, so it's not pain and suffering. It might feel aching when you make the change or when you say goodbye. Goodbyes are painful. Sometimes it can be extremely refreshing, but that's usually a good thing. I feel like whatever this is that you're really struggling with, whatever decision that you are choosing, you might have to say goodbye to some other things too, or there's something that you want to say goodbye to, usually when it comes up in the subconscious. In the recent past, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Perhaps you planted seeds and perhaps they're not growing the way that you like and you want to move on. In other words, you might also, in a different vein, in a similar vein, you could have planted something that's kind of like, this just kind of reminds me of like the most accessible example for me is the when you have a full-time job and then your side gig is actually doing very well and you want to turn that hobby and like that little side hustle or that cash flow into something greater, like a full-time job, which would require you saying goodbye. But as a channeler, it's sometimes hard for me to not try to fully make sense of the picture. But we have a Celtic cross, so of course I'm going to be trying to make connections. So whatever the case may be, there was something that you spread seeds on in the past, something you tried to make grow, something that you need patience for in the long haul, and either you abandoned it early or this is something that you're still cultivating and you're actually going to follow through with it. I'm getting more of a sense of following through on it, so maybe this is something that you've planted ideas in the past, or you've been given something, some type of inspiration, or you've given resources or whatever, and you are bringing those to life. So watering the seeds to that just seems like a recent past thing, or you put in some of the work here. Or maybe you've had ideas for what to plant and maybe you just haven't done that yet. But the focus here is conserving with the Four of Pentacles. You could be saving money. I do feel like some of you could be transitioning out of a job and trying to like save your money or keep it tight if you're trying to pursue a goal or a passion that's not quite making all the money in the world yet that you would like. But the Four of Pentacles is the focus is keeping things close, keeping your resources close. You're obviously feeling this way for a reason. It's totally valid and it's totally okay to be stingy with your money for a while, or be stingy with your time and your energy and your efforts and your resources. It's okay to be stingy because you're feeling like that for a reason. In the close future or the near future, you have the Three of Wands. So I feel like you're very well prepared. Three of Wands is the card of preparation, having all your bags packed and you're ready to go on the next adventure. It's just a matter of when you're cutting the cords. It's a matter of when you are choosing to leave or what direction to take, because the you right now is in Two of Swords. Two of Swords is needing to make a choice. You know you have a choice presented to you. It's just needing to make a choice, which is interesting because the first thing that I pulled was the Four of Cups, and I just heard you just need to make a choice. Like you just need to pick. And interestingly enough, the you, this is the section of the Celtic cross that represents you, and the Two of Swords just happens to fall out in that. So needing to make a choice. It's a tough choice. There's obviously one that sounds more logical and one that's going to call to your intuition. Sometimes they're both the same thing. Oftentimes they are not, and that's why the Two of Swords presents itself. That is why it's such a struggle, because the most logical thing or the smartest thing might not be necessarily what your heart wants to do. So this is the situation presented to yourself. But the thing about the Two of Swords that I always like to point out is that she's blindfolded. So she's not quite seeing. She's weighing the swords a little bit. She's trying to see which one's heavier, and she's trying to figure out, well, which weapon do I want to carry with me? I'm only going to carry one. And I just heard something like you need to make a change. So that's just something there. Like that's something there. Let it be there. Let that advice be there for you. Let it sit. Let that guidance sit and see what kind of change you actually do need to make. In your environment, we have movement with the Six of Swords. Again, y'all are just moving on. You're moving on. You're letting go. But holding on to tomorrow. I've always got the memories. Okay, that turned into a song. I don't know. That's like a Miley Cyrus song or something. Maybe a Hannah Montana song. But that's just something that came to mind. It is about moving on and letting go and having hope for the future. That like you're gonna take those treasures with you. And you're going to take those lessons with you forever, okay? So the old you is still you at your core, but it's almost like you've kind of grown out of these situations and you're moving on. So the environment is actually aiding you in this, I just heard this escape. So it's aiding you in this little escape measures here. But your hopes and your fears here are judgment. Perhaps you're worried that leaving a situation or cutting certain things off, other people are going to judge you. Society, even spirit, like people sometimes feel like spirit's going to view them as less. And that's not necessarily true. But the judgment card, interestingly enough, is not always about judgment. I mean, yes, judgment day, okay. But judgment is always a card of rising to the occasion. And I feel like, especially in the hopes and fear section, not only could it quite literally be fearing judgment, but it could be fearing fearing stepping up to the plate, because then all the responsibility is back on you. Like, you know, especially when, like, for example, if you stop working for somebody else and you start working for yourself, that's a big responsibility. It's a big burden. It's not you answering to somebody else and making sure you get paid. It's you stepping up and being like, oh snap, I'm the person. I got to make sure I get paid. And that's a lot of pressure sometimes. Not even sometimes. It is a lot of pressure for somebody who's not used to handling that. And like some of us could, like, you know, the pressure's on, the anxiety's on. But a lot of us hope for that too, because we want to be there for ourselves. We want to feel that powerful and figure, and we want to have that control over ourselves sometimes. That's a very specific example. Apply it to your situation as you see fit. But a lot of this hope, like the hopes and the dreams here are rising to the occasion, but there's also the fear that, oh, if I rise to the occasion, I might mess it up. I might not be fully equipped. I might not be ready. And Spirit is saying that you're ready, so long as you are fair, because the outcome of this situation is justice. Justice is making sure that you are being, I feel like this is the biggest thing here, is being fair to yourself. And I just heard there's somebody here that you admire. You want to be fair to them. If there's somebody in your life that you admire, that you might have to like let them down because you're not following the path that they think you're going to follow, really just take the time. It might anger them, or maybe you worry about angering them. Just make sure that you are being fair to their energy. Make sure that you offer them a proper explanation, and really make sure that they understand you can't control what they're seeing and what they're not seeing. So they might have to, you know, embrace that loss after a while. But Spirit is saying they will accept it. They will accept it. So just trust that they will accept it in their own time. I do feel like they'll just like accept it right away is kind of what Spirit is getting. But for some of you where that doesn't happen like that, it might take them a little bit of time. But for whoever you admire, or your special connections, make sure that you are offering an adequate explanation, that you are giving them the proper time to like Spirit saying, like, measure your concerns and bring it up to them. So you don't always have to justify yourself to everyone, but, you know, don't burn all of your bridges, and keep those keep those connections informed, and let them know from a heartfelt and authentic place why you're doing what you're doing, or why you're making the changes that you're making, so that you can lead kind of like a more, like a better life. And Spirit, for whatever reason, is coming through and saying that you have an audience. Lighten up a little. Like, it's like a This is like a very serious thing, a serious business, but at the same time, don't let that stress. It's almost like I see rocks as like shoulders. Like your shoulder blades are made of rocks. Or like not the blades themselves, but the muscles in between your shoulders. Like it's like very tense. So, and again, I'm not like a licensed like therapist or anything, or I'm not like a, I don't know what you would call it, like a physical fitness trainer, a doctor, whatever the case may be. But if you are physically able to do some stretches to alleviate those shoulders, and of course consult your doctor if you have any doubts. But there just feels like for some of you in the physical body, there could be pain there. There could be something like a lot of tense stuff there. So really just like try to loosen up that, especially when we worry and when we get frustrated and tense, that's the first place that's going to tense up is our neck, our jaw, and then our shoulders leading down, because we're thinking really hard, we're concentrating sometimes, or like when we worry, we just go into fight or flight mode and our muscles tense. And it's just so hard sometimes to keep the body loosey-goosey. Like, so again, physical body, like the physical, does impact the mental, which in turn also impacts the emotional and impacts the spiritual. So not always in that order, but it's all a cycle. It's all connected to one another. So you really want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself at this time. Okay? So make sure, again, this is where the fairness comes in. Make sure you're being fair with your body. Make sure you're being fair with yourself and with the people you love in your life. Let's see what your oracle cards are saying. Oh my God, I literally I said what I said. Spirit said what they said, and they meant it. To be fair, like I cannot make this shit up. Y'all saw me pull this card. I just talked about it. So Capricorn, be fair to yourself. Be fair to others. I really can't. I don't know. I said what I said. I can't. But, and I also, loosey-goosey, relax, happy. Happy is embracing, just being joyous, finding something to be joyful about. It's a very stressful time, or it can be, like, it's going to impact you in a significant way. So you really want to make sure that you're keeping your vibes happy and positive. You don't have to do it, like, 100% of the time. Have those moments where you're going to feel sorrowful, and you're going to kind of, like, because you got to, like, acclimate, you got to acclimate, you got to adapt and be flexible and, like fit into your new environment, or whatever choice you make, you're going to be impacted by it. But be thankful and grateful for this change, even if other people around you aren't quite as enthused as you are, or if they're not quite on the same page as you on this new adventure that you're on. Be happy for you, because I mean, excuse my language, but fuck yeah, you did it. Like, you made that decision for yourself, and that's one step closer. That takes such guts. Okay, can I just say that takes like hardcore, like, guts of steel in order to get through, like, standing up for yourself and making your own authentic choices, even in the face of other people who tell you that's not the right choice or don't agree with your authentic self. That takes a lot of guts, especially if they're people that you really care about and you really respect their opinion. So definitely be happy and grateful that you're fighting for you, that you're being there for you, that Spirit has offered you these options, and that you're like able to choose what to do. Like, just being happy and joyful, and like the act of celebrating it will do you wonders. Even if you celebrate by yourself, honestly, celebrating with a very supportive friend or family member, whoever in your life offers that kind of support, would be super beneficial. If you don't have that, or if you find that that's not accessible at this time, you can totally just celebrate with yourself. Give yourself a mani or a petty. It don't matter if you're a guy or girl. Just pamper yourself up. Guy, girl, non-binary, whatever the case may be, like, do something special for yourself to celebrate. You could take yourself out on a date. You could take yourself out for a nice walk. You can go out and party. Okay, Spirit's giving me like some extra examples that are a little bit too, I don't really want to bring it up because it's a little bit too, yeah, it's this channel is not for kids, and I have it marked as not for kids, but we're just not gonna, just do whatever you want to celebrate. I'm not gonna get too far into it. Some of that's gonna be hearing that's gonna be kind of weird for some of you, and for some of you are like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I could do that. I know what you mean. So, anyway, let's pull some spirit animal cards. I'm here trying to lead. Hang on. Let me pull some spirit animal cards and see what other oracles you got going on. And then we're going to roll some dice and send you on your way, Capricorn. Ooh. Okay. So, for our elephant spirit, learn from the past. So one of your other fellow earth signs got, I wanted to talk about the elephant spirit too. It was in a different card actually, but the elephant drew, and I felt channeled to talk about the elephant, and that's interesting that it's also coming up for you. So I think it was your Virgo pals, I'm not sure. But the elephant spirit, learned from the past. Elephant is actually one of my main spirit animals, so let's talk about the elephant. The elephant is a very grounding presence, and the elephant is very wise. You know, the elephant never forgets. The elephant has tons of memories. So typically, in spirit, the elephant can help you ground yourself not only in the present and keep you engaged with the life around you, but they help you channel soul wisdom from past lifetimes. And just a lot of the things that you learn from this lifetime, the elephant does help integrate those things. So specifically, I just heard like wait for a sign. So for some of you who want to actually work with this animal spirit, or that you want to work with the divine on like learning from your mistakes of the past, definitely look out for signs and synchronicities. Even drop into some meditation for a while and see what comes to you intuitively. We're all psychic. Don't just sit here and be like, oh, these tarot readers, they got all this special gifts and talents. Okay, but it took practice to get here, and everybody has intuition. Everybody is entitled to this divine gift. You got it too. If you don't believe me, like quite literally just sit and ask for a sign, and then just like, even like quite literally, and even if you're not sensing anything or feeling anything, or you're like, this isn't working, go read a book. Go read a spiritual book. If it's Edgar Casey, he's like a very classic example of a book you can pick up and read, because as soon as you turn your awareness to those kinds of things, you start noticing all the signs. You start noticing the synchronicities and becoming more spiritually aware. A lot of you already know that, but I'm just putting it out there for people who feel like they don't got the gift. It's not a gift. Everybody has the gift. We all embrace it. We all like, we don't all embrace it, but our souls naturally have that ability. So, because we're all souls, like, I don't know. But anyway, wait for the signs, wait for the synchronicities, and you got this. Spirit's going to be talking to you through whatever method you talk with the universe, like talk to the universe with. Okay. You also have peacock spirit. Let it shine. So peacocks kind of strut their stuff and don't really care about what anybody else thinks. They look different from a lot of the birds around them, and they got super glowy, fancy colors. And I don't know, the peacock just enjoys kind of strutting their stuff regardless of what anyone else has to say about it. So they like, I don't know, just, you don't need excuses, Spirit is saying. You don't need excuses. Just, like, you don't have to make excuses for why you need to look good. Like, you don't have to, you don't even have to leave your house. If you want to dress up just to be around the house because it makes you feel good, do that. You don't have to shine for anybody. Just do it because it makes you feel good. Like, it's almost like, it kind of reminds me, so, like, for example, like, sometimes I'm not going to lie, if I have, like, a really rough night's sleep, I'll, like, put on makeup just to make myself feel more awake. Because I look in the mirror and I'm like, eye bags. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Like, mascara, I put on a rush of mascara, and I'm like, okay, I feel a little better. I feel like I'm more put together, even though I feel like crap. Like, I feel like emotionally feel a little bit more put together. But some of us might be like, you know what? It makes me feel good to wear this particular outfit, or this nice fancy outfit. It makes me feel good to wear a suit or a dress. It makes me feel good to put on makeup. It makes me feel good to just, like, even if it's like physically dressing yourself up, or even like it makes me feel good to go out and like scream at the top of my lungs, or to you know, engage in some type of tomfoolery, whatever it is. Like, if you're even shining your talents or your gifts out to the world, whatever that case may be, whatever you do to express yourself, let it out. Spirit is saying, just let it shine. Like, breathe in the air that is the present moment and truly live in it, and embrace all that you feel like doing in the moment, so long as you're not hurting somebody else and it's coming from a place of love, and it's actually, like, you know, lifting up your spirits. It's it's something that can really help you feel more free and help you engage more in that happy energy if you really struggle, with being in that mental space, okay? We're going to roll some dice for you. We have 600. Ooh, 600 even. And we're pulling from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray, and we'll see what's going on. God is restoring your energy at this time. Take time to breathe and feel replenished. Ooh, what did I just say? Breathe. So this is God. You don't have to believe in like the Christian God. God, source, universe, love, whatever you connect to, whatever the case may be. Everybody up there wants you to know that God, universe, love, whatever, is restoring your energy at this time. Take time to breathe and feel replenished. And that's what I have for you, Capricorn. That's your reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to you, your angel guides, and your spirit team for allowing me to channel that for you. And thanks for holding this space with me. I love doing readings, and I love when you're sitting here and, just engaging with my energy and, yeah. So if you like my style, if you like my vibe, if you think I'm cool, go ahead, like and subscribe and all the things. It does help the channel grow. Leave a comment if you still feel called to tell me how this resonated with you. Oh, and maybe leave a comment down below about elephants, because I love to hear if people ever connected with spirit animal elephants, or any type of spirit animal that, like, you have the power to choose what animal totems you want to work with, of course, but in meditation I find the most random shit coming to me. So I don't know, I enjoy conversations about what people connect with. So anyway, I love you, Capricorn. I hope you have the best week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.